kitchen's where you'd rather have your friends and family gather. You should hit the like and subscribe down below. And if filling plates and platters while maintaining flavor matters, then there's a stellar cook that you should know. It's Raine, the planet with a palate. They'll keep you fed and coming back for more. So come on, take up space. Raine will make a tasty plate and tell the diet Karens where to go. It's the planet with a palate cooking show.
Howdy y'all, and welcome back to the Planet with the Palette Kitchen. I am so excited because it is St. Patrick's Day, y'all. And what better time to kick back and enjoy a beer than today. Ooh. So I'm having a Killian's Red today. It's an Irish style traditional red lager. It's really, really good, but it is a product of the USA, I will say, but it's very yummy. We're going to use it in our cooking today. Y'all know I love cooking with beers and wines, so we are definitely going to do that up. We are going to have corned beef and cabbage day, of course. I do this every year for my family on St. Patrick's Day. It's kind of the only way we really celebrate is just by having some yummy food. I'm also going to try my hand for the first time ever at making some Irish soda bread. I love it. We usually buy it every year from the grocery store. But this year I wanted to try to make it. And it is a quick bread, so it should be fairly easy. So I'm going to give it a go. We are going to start with our dry ingredients. And for this, we are going to have 4.5 cups. Woo-hoo-hoo. There's 2 cups of flour. And y'all know me, so it's guaranteed I'm gonna make a mess in my dark green dress. I'm gonna be covered in flour by the end of this episode. But you know what? If the food's good, it'll be worth it. All right, there's 2 more cups. And last but not least, 1 more 1/4 cup. Yep. There we go. Next up. Now, the recipe originally calls for 3 tablespoons of sugar. No, we're not doing that. We're going to add a little bit more. I want this to be a little on the sweet side because that's how I like it.
You can do it.
Me digs around in the drawer for 5 minutes. And I wonder why my editing for this show is so difficult. All right. So I have called out. So I have these cute little spoon measurers that y'all loved last episode. So I decided to pull those out again. We've got 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go with 3.5. Don't want to overkill, but I definitely want it a little on the sweet side. There we go. See, now I follow a lot of Instagram cooks and YouTubers and other things that do cooking. And
You are covered in
I listen. All right.
Oh my! It's on your knee too.
Oh, okay. Well, good thing we're gonna set off the robot vacuum after this.
In it, please.
What was I even saying?
I don't know. It's something about following people on Instagram.
Oh yeah. So I follow a lot of different cooks on Instagram and on, various places where they put up reels, TikToks, and all these things. and YouTube, of course. And one of the people that I talk about constantly and that I repost constantly is the Pasta Queen, and I love her. She's been doing these like public service announcements lately that are really funny, and she's just like, she's funny, but also her food looks amazing, and I've learned a lot of really awesome tricks from her. I have no idea where I was going with this.
Pasta Queen.
Yeah.
Who's the Pasta Queen?
Oh, I know because I said I wanted a little on the sweet side, or it's going to be a little on the sweet side. And I heard her voice in my head go like, just like you are, because that's part of her thing. And she like flings her hair and she's like, just like you. Yeah. She's awesome. Okay. Next up, we need some baking soda. We need a teaspoon. One teaspoon of salt. Wasn't quite a teaspoon. There we go. And 5 tablespoons. We are going to use the Irish butter, Kerrygold. And we need 5 tablespoons of this. We're going to put it right in the mixture cold, just like you would do with like a homemade pie crust or something, or scones. I'm going to take these and square them up.
I don't really watch a lot of cooking people online, but I have been watching a lot of Raine Walton videos recently.
I don't know who that is.
Dead Dad's Kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really watch Dead Dad's Kitchen itself, but she does a lot of just like more talky videos while she like eats her lunch or whatever, and those are always really entertaining.
We're going to just throw some... We're going to do this for a whole 5 tablespoons. So I'm just going to kind of loosely fold in those pats of butter before throwing in some more. And that's what we want. We want little squares of cold butter throughout our dough here. Now in a separate bowl, we are going to mix together our wet ingredients. So we've got 1 large egg and 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk. And the buttermilk in this is really gonna give it that flavor that we love. Oh, I do love Irish soda bread, and I'm very excited about this recipe, y'all. Let me get a little whisk here. Give it a light whiskey whisk.
It explodes.
No, please. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we forgot a dry ingredient. Very important, too. Also, we are going to mix in about 6 ounces of raisins. You could also use craisins. You don't have to do the raisins, but it is traditional, and I do love it with the raisins. Oh, yeah. My ideal thing to do with this would have been to mix white raisins and regular raisins, but I didn't have those, so. All right, now we are going to fold in our wet ingredients.
Your affirmations app just came up. It says, I am the only one who controls my life.
Wow. Thanks, I Am app. I was talking about that on an Instagram live recently, how I have an I Am app. Okay, we're gonna fold this in. Fold in the wets. Oh yeah. It's looking good. Thick and hearty. That's the spread. Oh, thick and hearty, just like I am. That'll be my thing. Just a rip off instead of just like you are, be just like I am, but it's only fat jokes. Okay. It's not really a joke. I am thick and hearty. Okay. Now, I'm going to take all this dough and I am going to use my hands because this is the best way to do it. And you kind of want to mix it around until you're getting that consistency, getting all the flour throughout it. Oh yeah. Oh, doughy hands. Food's more fun when you play with it, to be honest with you. And I do love any kind of food that allows you to get messy, both in cooking it and eating it. It's I bet that's a neurodivergent thing. I'm like, could be. I've also always been a really big fan of a mud show at like a Renaissance festival. Just like cover me in some mud. And what is mud if not nature's sauce? Wow, I'm funny. Make a cooking show where I just make jokes that I laugh to.
Mm-hmm. That's what this channel is.
I know. Why do y'all think I'm here? Okay. There's still some. Okay.
Your hands are never going to be clean again.
This is just me now. In spite of popular belief, I was able to get my hands clean. I have lined a loaf pan here with some parchment paper and a little bit of flour. Now, generally, I've heard that it's best to do this in a cast iron skillet. I only have a giant cast iron skillet, so I don't actually have one that will fit into my oven. So instead, we're gonna do it in a loaf pan, just like this. It's gonna be a little weirdly shaped. Irish soda bread always seems to be that way when I purchase it. But I'm gonna give it best chance I can.
Maybe Americans are just bad at it.
Maybe. It's possible. Never had Irish soda bread from Ireland, so. I forgot to mention that this amazing thing is from an episode I did last season with my BFF Ivy, who is planning to come back to the show soon. And we did a Dolly Parton, she has like a baking box, and I was given this lovely little baking spatula. Now I am just gonna top this with just a little bit more flour. There we go. Okay, we can stop. So now our bread is gonna go in the oven on 400 degrees for 45 to 55 minutes or until golden brown on top. Now, if you start to notice that it's browning too fast, you can always cover it with some aluminum foil. But yeah, this is gonna be some yummy bread to go with our delicious meal. I cannot wait. So while our Irish soda bread's in, and before we get started on our next part of this meal, I figured I would sit back and have a brewski with y'all. Cheers. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about something that I talked about recently in a live video on my Instagram channel. And it's that I am non-binary. I know a lot of y'all use she, her when you respond to, comment on things and stuff. And I have to say I've gotten used to it. So it's not like it's not that I like it, but I tolerate it. Because I'm happy that you're all here, and I understand that not a lot of people are educated about non-binary as a gender or non-gender. I realize that not everybody has like experience with that, and that it's also a language upstate. So I try to be pretty like patient with people. Now, if it's someone I'm close to, you know, immediately I'm gonna want you to like use my pronouns correctly, because I want to know if I'm close to you that you see me for who I really am. But I've had a lot of comments on my Instagram lately. It's interesting because, you know, when Mars lived here with me, we would have interactions with people, and even people on this channel really, some people really didn't like Mars. And I, you know, never really understood why everyone found like him to be like, you know, impalatable. And he was like, well, it's because, you know, you don't present as trans the same way I do. And that's true. Like, I don't, but I'm not cis. And people have started commenting on my Instagram, and I've actually had someone use the T slur. I've had people now been calling me like transvestite and things like this, and just, you know, not knowing at all what they're talking about. But, and it's interesting. So I've never been on such a big platform like this that's just open to the public before. I mean, obviously I have other platforms that I've been on for many years, but it's different, you know, a little bit. I will say that, you know, there was a process too of coming out as being non-binary, you know, both in my personal life. You know, I was married, I had, you know, family and friends that I had to explain things to, and needed them to understand and accept what I'm telling them as, you know, who I am. And then there's also the process of doing that, you know, at my other job, which I genuinely was concerned about, because I thought, oh, you know, this could cost me money, but it didn't. And that's great. And now there's like a whole new process of being here on YouTube and y'all watching me, and me being like a little bit more open about this, and me being who I am. So the thing is, I said in the live video, and I'll say again, I don't love educating people about this. I dread these sort of conversations, and I do get a lot of feedback, especially from randoms on the internet, that are things like, why do you even have to talk about that? And I'm going to tell you why I have to talk about that. Because when I was a kid, you know, we didn't even have the language to sort of understand gender as a spectrum, or what it meant to be non-binary. So I grew up my whole entire childhood wondering why it was that I didn't feel like a girl, but I also thought about, like, could I be a man? Many times I thought about that, and it just never resonated either. So I just decided, okay, well, I'll just shove myself back into this other uncomfortable box. And, you know, I spent a lot of time trying really hard to be feminine, to be more feminine than I actually am, than I've actually ever been. You know, I was always the kid who liked climbing trees and getting into trouble and hanging out with the boys. And, you know, I made my first best friend that was a girl, and, you know, she taught me how to use makeup and how to do the girly things, but it never came naturally to me, ever. And, you know, I do enjoy feminine things. I love feminine things, but I will tell you that if I was not the size that I am, I would probably dress less feminine, because I find that there are more comfortable clothes in my size that are feminine. But I do love feminine things. I love masculine things. I'm a mixture of both. And having that language to realize that, and having representation, having people come out and say, hey, I'm non-binary, made such a big difference to me at the age that I was at when I came out, which I think was maybe 39, almost 40. And so why do I feel like I have to talk about this, is because I want other people to see that it's okay. I want people to learn. I want to live in a society. Yes, I'm one of those people. Like, I want to live in a society where it's okay to be who you are, and where your authentic self is not only accepted, not tolerated, but celebrated. And so, you know, I'm trying to do that the best that I can. As I get older, I don't want anything other than an authentic life. I want to be who I am. I want to be honest about who I am. There are things that I discovered in my journey of like realizing that I am non-binary that really surprised me. Like the fact that I have a lower voice than I ever realized, because I was always putting on a voice like you would do if you were working in customer service, you know, to make myself more palatable and more feminine. I had been for years being like, hi, everybody, you know, and like, I didn't realize I was doing that. I mean, I do have a somewhat feminine voice, but it doesn't sound like that. But I think the thing is that I, without knowing it, was trying so hard to be something that I wasn't, just because I thought it was what I was supposed to be. And the thing is, you're not supposed to be anything. You're not supposed to be anything other than what you want to be, other than pursuing your own happiness and your own authenticity. I mean, what else is there, honestly? So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit today. Do a little beer chat. Cheers. I love a good beer, y'all. This is so good. If you haven't had a Killian's Road before, I'd be interested to know what everyone thinks. All right, let's get started on this delicious corned beef, shall we? Whoa, look at this bread I made. Woo, baby. Oh my gosh, so our bread is out of the oven. And even though it's way too hot to really be eating it, I have to try it. Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. I will not be buying this from the supermarket again. It's easy to make. Gosh, is it delicious. You can taste the butter. The raisins are definitely a good call. So there's 3 different ways that you can do your corned beef and cabbage. You can do it in a slow cooker. You can do it low and slow in the oven, or you can just boil it in a pot, which is actually the traditional way to make it and how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to get about 2 cups of chicken stock here. Then, y'all don't think I just got the beer just so I could drink it, did you? I mean, it's delicious, but we are gonna put in a whole bottle of beer. Oh yeah. Fill our pot the rest of the way with some water. Some black pepper. I love this meal every year. So when you get a corned beef from the store, it's going to be in a lot of juice. It's a special way of curing it. It's basically just a beef roast, but cured a special way. And it's very salty, but we're going to take some of that salt away by rinsing it off really good and patting it dry. Watching all that extra unnecessary salt go down the drain. And most of the times you buy corned beef, it will come with a little package of seasonings. You're gonna want that seasoning. That seasoning is gonna go right in your pot. So in addition to our beer, our water, and just a little bit of black pepper, we're gonna add right into the pot this very fragrant seasoning mixture. Pat this dry to get off any excess unnecessary salts. Now we're gonna put it directly into our pot. We're gonna bring this to a boil and then lower it so that it's still boiling but on a lower heat. And we're gonna let it do its thing like that for 2 hours. And then we're gonna come back and add our veggies. I do have some carrots, some cabbage, some small potatoes, and last but not least, love the color of a purple onion. Oh, this is so good. I'm making a mess.
Shocking.
I love quickbread. It's kind of somewhere between a scone and a muffin for me. Really good. Oh yeah. I've been on a fig jam kick lately, but I feel like that would be very good on here. Not me in the middle of the night in the kitchen with a giant loaf of bread, because that's what this is dangerous. Yeah, tasty. All right, so now that we've got this pot boiling, we are gonna turn it down. And we are going to put the lid on it and let it do its thing for about 2 hours. Then about an hour and a half, I'll come in and start chopping up vegetables and getting things ready to go in. So now that our thing has been cooking for a while, we're gonna throw in some cabbage. We want pretty potatoes in this. We're gonna let that continue to boil for about 2 more hours, and then everything's gonna be delicious and done, and we get to eat. Okay, now this last step is optional because our food has been cooking for about 4 hours, and at this point we could just call it done and be done with it. But I am making a little crust for the top, and then I'm gonna throw this off in the oven for about 35 minutes. Let the top of our thing get crusty. I like to use this coarse ground Dijon mustard. I'm gonna do about 3 tablespoons. Yeah, as much as I can get out of here. Then I'm gonna mix that with a splash of about 3/4 of a tablespoon to a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then last but not least, I wanna hit it with a little sweet splash of citrus. So I don't have oranges, but I do have clementines, and that will work. So we're gonna squeeze the juice of about half a clementine or about 1/4 of an orange into it. And then we're gonna mix this up. Oh gosh, that's, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hot, 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 hot. Oh, look at that. I just want to give it a little, look, this is already falling apart. I mean, ooh. You could absolutely stop right there. That's delicious. But we are all about elevating it. So we're gonna rub this whole piece of meat down. All the sides. Oh my gosh, it's falling apart. So good. And we are gonna put this in the oven uncovered for about 30 minutes and just let it get a nice crust on it. I'm so excited. I'm gonna put it in at about 375. Okay. Do you want everything on this plate? We've got, here's what we have. We have cabbage, carrots, onions, and potatoes.
Everything.
Everything. Okay. Oh my gosh. Potatoes. Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. I'm excited. Some carrots. Whoop. Oh, wow. Wow. That looks so good. I'm really, oh my God, it smells amazing. Well, I think this is gonna be a winner. A winner corned beef dinner.
Where's the butter?
Some Irish soda bread. Do you want butter on your bread? This was my first time making Irish soda bread, and I think it turned out really good.
Oh, I'm sure it's amazing.
Here you go. Whoop.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Oh, that looks good. Get you another carrot in here. Plate number 2. Is it good?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Had to change outfits because I definitely spilled all over myself. Well, I started by making bread. So we all know, and I was wearing dark green. So we all know that was just, you know, a disaster. Look at this plate, y'all. Ooh, my body is ready.
Wow. So good.
Yeah. Okay, going in for a carrot. Mmm. Oh yeah. This is good.
So good.
Mmm. Y'all want to make this one. It's so easy, too.
I want to make it.
You literally just boil everything. But I boiled it with, and then I put it back in the oven to get the crust on the meat. But so I boiled it with a bottle of Killian's red beer. And also I added in about 2 cups of chicken broth. And then the rest was just water. And then I boiled it for 2 hours, just the meat. And then you add the veggies and you boil for, on low though. Like you bring it up to a boil and then lower it down. And then you just add the veggies, do another 2 hours, and then finish it off in the oven. But before I put it in the oven, I added the mixture we were talking about last night.
Yep.
So it was about 3 tablespoons of the Stone Ground Dijon mustard, and then about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and about and about half of a clementine juice. And then that's why I made the crust. The crust is good. Oh yeah, that mustard slaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little tangy.
Wow. Happy St. Patrick's Day, y'all. This is good. I like the Irish soda bread too.
I love Irish soda bread.
My first time ever making it. I usually just buy it from a store.
Oh, it turned out great.
Thanks.
All of it's really good.
I'm a very happy fatty right now. And please don't comment you're not fat, you're beautiful. You can be both. Oh yeah. You can definitely taste the beer and the veggies. I like it.
If you can't tell, I hate everything.
That plate is clean.
Wow.
That's what I'm gonna do. When I make a bigger corned beef, I like to come back and make like Reubens with it.
Or with eggs.
Ooh. The other trick is you have to make sure you rinse the corned beef and pat it dry. That way you get all the excess like salt off. Otherwise it's too salty.
Oh. That makes sense.
I love cabbage. Dang. I hope y'all are eating this good today. This is amazing. When I first started cooking, I didn't know what to do with the corned beef, so I just was like, oh, I'm gonna roast it. It's fine roasted, you can roast it. Especially if you go low and slow, like 275 all day kind of situation. But boiling it is the traditional way to do it, and I like it better. It makes it softer. And this is good, it's just falling apart. You guys see my new glasses? Newest addition to my collection. I love collecting accessories. when you have short hair, like you can't do as many hairstyles, so I feel like I make up for it with accessories. I got hats, cat ears, and glasses out the wazoo. The wazoo. Who even says that? Me, apparently. You? Mmm. I'm excited to try this cookie too. Mmm. Mmm. So what's the verdict on corned beef? It's in your meat rotation now?
It's in my meat rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can have corned beef sandwiches.
Mm.
Is that what it is, a Reuben?
Yeah, you can make it with corned beef or you can make it with pastrami.
Oh, I love both.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I love a Reuben. That's like one of my favorite things.
I love corned beef for breakfast.
My problem with corned beef hash is that people make it out of a can, which is fine, but
Excuse me.
it's always mushy.
Yeah.
I like it all. I'll eat it out of a can, fresh.
I just want them to like cook it till it's crispy.
No, I know. It's just, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm.
That's why I usually make it, leave it in there till it's really like crispy on the outside.
Mm. The Irish soda bread is like the perfect little after hint of sweetness. It's good. I do love a corned beef hash though. As long as it's cooked right, I love it. I like anything with eggs. Eggs are probably like easily one of my favorite foods because they're so
I
versatile.
know.
Well, your eggs that you made in those dragon noodles were bomb.
Oh my god, those were my best dragon noodles.
They were so good.
So good.
Oh
They
my-
were so good. Mm.
Those meatballs.
Mm. I burned them a little bit though.
I don't care.
They were still good though. Oh man. Speaking of doing silly things, I just spilled.
Oops.
And was it the first episode? Yes, the first episode that Ivy was in. I was pouring a pitcher of homemade like blueberry lemonade. And I just straight up overflowed all over the counter.
You were like too busy watching the camera.
Yeah. I left it in too, and everybody was like, I love that you left it in.
It was really funny.
It was very funny. And definitely a very me moment. Got big Thembo energy sometimes. Mm. Mm. Wow. Well, if y'all haven't seen the contest, for the next 3 weeks, anyone who's watching the channel will be entered in to a contest for a free 2-night stay at a hotel in Baton Rouge, courtesy of my amazing Planeteer of the Week, who's already, I'm pretty sure, been Planeteer of the Week twice. But like I'm telling you, if I had a fan club, Joette, you would be like the president. You're like the ultimate viewer. I just love having you on the show. I love how you're always in the live chats. Hey, Arthur, you want silly? You don't like it?
Doesn't look like a nice person, does it?
His name is Mad, so probably not. No. It's silly goose. Excuse me. So Joette, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for giving such a cool prize. So if anybody's wanting to travel to the Baton Rouge area, it's not that far away from New Orleans. You could get a free 2-night stay. Be entered to win just by watching the show. So cheers, y'all. Hope you have an awesome St. Patrick's Day. Look forward to my next couple of weeks with y'all. I have some really fun stuff planned. So stay tuned. I love you. Bye.
It's the Planet with a Palate Cooking Show.